Hello and welcome to the interview here on France 24. Our guest today is Edwy Plenel, who is the founder and publisher of the investigative online media outlet Mediapart. He's the author of a book titled in French, For the Muslims. Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. Your book is more of an alarm bell, a warning, essentially saying that the Muslims of today could become the Jews of yesterday. So this is obviously an argument that's very explosive here in France because there are lots of tensions about how Islam can adapt to the French systems. Why did you write this book?
It's a book of fraternity, against fear, against hate. It's a book about Muslims in our country, in France, not the Islamic problem in all the world, not the Islamic ideology of terror and so on. It's about to be a Muslim in France. And I wrote this book because there is in the media, in the political debate, a very official, very academic, mediatic, in fact, Islamophobia. I don't compare Muslim now and Jewish people.
Well, you say you say in the book.
My comparison. I compare to an article of Emile Zola at the beginning of the Dreyfus affair. Emile Zola wrote in Le Figaro a big article for the Jews, not the famous J'accuse, for the Jews.
1896.
Yes, at this time, Emile Zola and all the anti-Semitism, they don't know the end of the story. 40 years after the genocide, the Shoah, the Holocaust, they don't know. They just, they saw the discrimination, this sort of, where to say, Jewish people are linked to the money, to the capital, to Rothschild, all the préjugés. And that's my point.
You're saying that you are seeing in today's France some behavior, some description of Muslims comparable to
yes,
what was...
Muslim, not as a diversity, not as a plurality, Muslim as a sort of essentialism of Muslim, of Islam, like a very single group. No, there is many people. There is many ways to be Muslim. That's culture, that's origin, that's faith, that's religion. It's not the same. Like Jewish people at the end of the 19th century. So there is not one group with a sort of essentialism. The beginning of the racism, of the xenophobia, is to say this group of people, they are unit. And they are a danger for us. No, there is no danger with Muslim in France. You are Muslim in France like you are Catholic, Protestant, Jewish people, no faith if you want, laicity if you want. It's the diversity of our people.
You're saying essentially that an overtly racist discourse is making its way into official speeches, not only by extreme politicians, yes, but by mainstream yes, politicians. Aren't you exaggerating a little bit?
No, it's a real, very symbolic violence. If you say on the media, there is a problem with Islam, there is a problem with Muslim, and it's a problem of civilization. It's a problem that we must take, and not only the extreme right. You say the same. You say we must take this agenda, this xenophobic agenda, against a group of people, against us, because it's a part of our people. What is my book? It's for the Muslim, but you can say also for the minorities, for the people as a diversity.
But so aren't you afraid that there is indeed a problem with Islam in France, but that you have a blind spot maybe because you say, oh, you know, it's all about social issues. If things were well, this wouldn't be a problem. Don't you think there
is no problem with Islam as a unique reality? There is a big diversity. a big diversity of people.
Because
In other countries where they speak French, in Quebec, in Canada, in Belgium, in Switzerland, there is the same diversity, and they don't think in the media, in the official speech, that Islam is a problem. Islam is a reality. It's a very long story. In our for France, we were a big colonial empire with many Muslim citizens. Algerian people before the independence in France, what's their name? They were Français musulmans d'Algérie. French people, Muslim from Algeria. It's our reality, and we must take this reality like a force for us. Because if you are in this world of globalization, there is no one identity, unique identity.
But don't you think, with all what's happening, all what you see in TV, people being slaughtered, people going to Syria, including French citizens, saying they want to come back to hurt France, this obviously feeds this discourse. You even have politicians, including the prime minister who you attack in the book, saying they're enemies from within. Do you understand that there is maybe a problem for a majority of the French?
No, I think it's a very dangerous ideology, because when you say there is an ennemi de l'intérieur, interior enemy, it's a way to put a battle against us in France. It's a clash of civilization in France, and it's a way to import hate, fear. It's what they call in United States during the last Bush presidency, politics of fear. And politics of fear produce a self-fulfilling prophecy, monsters, because all these so-called jihadists, they are no link to Islam, to religion. They are produce of our popular suburbs, of inequality.
But isn't this too easy an excuse
no,
to say, it's
or,
because they're
no,
poor
it's
and
not,
desperate?
It's a very reasonable explication, because even when there is a crime, there is violence. If you are responsible, you must find the explanation to find the good solution to close this story. If you are impatient, in emotion, in fear, in hate, you don't understand nothing.
What do you make of the calls for Muslims in France, Muslim organizations, personalities, to condemn very explicitly what is happening with the group known as Daesh? Do you think it's fair to be called upon to react, or do you think it's unfair?
Not in my name was a very spontaneous reaction. It's a good reaction, but I don't agree.
You don't like the fact that it's as Muslims?
To ask to Muslim or other minority. Do you ask to our Jewish people in France to make a declaration about state politics in Israel? Do you say, because Israel is a so-called Jewish state, you must make a declaration against the war in Gaza? No, you don't say that. Do you say that Catholics people make a declaration about the real Jewish anti-Semite tradition in the Christian tradition, and to say you are responsible of Shoah, of Holocaust?
So it's unfair.
You don't say, it's unfair. They are all individuals like you and me. There is rightist, leftist people. There is a diversity. It's a liberal country. We must be, in a political way, a liberal country, a multicultural country. My book is against our conception of France like a big country with a unique visage, a unique face. We must be a multicultural country. It's for our future. It's the only way to create a new hope for our country. If we go in the way of the war against all, my identity against your identity, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, it will be a depression. It will be a very, very big danger. And that's the reason of my alarm for the Muslim. It's a fraternity book.
Just last questions. There are some anti-terrorist measures being passed in France, in the UK. This reminds probably of what happened after 9/11 under the Bush administration. Do you think Europe is losing its way to fight terrorism?
There is the
or
same,
is there reason to
no.
be tougher right now?
There is security reason to
Real
protect our people. Okay, but the government want to criminalize opinion on internet. It's a very big attack.
They want to block websites.
Yes, it's a very big attack against free speech, against the right to know, the free access of information. And all the people in the digital world are against this attack. That's similar of the spirit of the Patriot Act. And I think we must discuss about the cause, about the origin. If we go very fast, with no reflection, we will put disorder to disorder, horror to horror, fear to fear, hate to fate, and we will produce monsters. That's the self-fulfilling prophecy against us.
Okay, Edwy Plenel, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and what's in your book called For the Muslims and published these days here in France. Thank you for watching this edition of The Interview here on France 24.